Long ago in the ancient world, people built incredible structures that amazed everyone who saw them. These were the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Each one was a masterpiece of skill and imagination. But over time, their meanings were lost. Today, we remember them as ruins or stories, but they were much more than that. They were symbols of power, faith, and human ambition. Let us travel back in time and uncover the lost meanings of the 7 wonders. Our journey begins in Egypt, where the Great Pyramid of Giza still stands tall. It is the only wonder that remains today. Built as a tomb for Pharaoh Khufu, this pyramid was more than just a grave. It was a stairway to the heavens. The ancient Egyptians believed that their pharaohs became gods after death. The pyramid's perfect shape pointed to the sky, guiding the pharaoh's soul to the stars. The sides were covered in smooth white limestone, shining like a beacon in the desert. Inside, hidden passages and chambers held treasures and secrets meant to help the pharaoh in the afterlife. But the pyramid was also a symbol of order. Its precise measurements reflected the Egyptians' deep understanding of mathematics and the cosmos. To them, the pyramid was a bridge between earth and the divine. Far from Egypt, in the city of Babylon, stood the Hanging Gardens. Legend-sized King Nebuchadnezzar built them for his queen, who missed the green mountains of her homeland. These gardens were not just beautiful, they were an engineering marvel. Water was lifted from the Euphrates River to feed the plants that grew on towering terraces. But the gardens were more than a royal gift. They showed the power of Babylon. In a land of dry plains, a lush garden proved that the king could control nature itself. Some even say the gardens were a symbol of paradise, a piece of heaven on earth. Yet, no one knows for sure if they truly existed. Babylon fell, and the gardens vanished, leaving only whispers behind. In Greece, the statue of Zeus at Olympia was a sight beyond words. Made of gold and ivory, it showed the king of the gods seated on his throne. The sculptor Phidias made Zeus look both mighty and wise, holding a statue of victory in one hand and a scepter in the other. But this statue was not just art. It was a religious symbol. Every 4 years, athletes from across Greece came to Olympia to compete in the Olympic Games. Before the games, they prayed to Zeus, asking for his favor. The statue reminded them that the gods watched over their struggles. To the Greeks, Zeus was not just a figure of fear, but also justice. His presence in Olympia meant that the games were holy, a test of both strength and honor. Across the sea, in what is now Turkey, the temple of Artemis at Ephesus was a place of wonder. Dedicated to the goddess of hunting and nature, it was one of the largest temples ever built. Its columns reached high, and its walls were decorated with carvings of myths and heroes. People came from far away to pray and leave offerings. But the temple was more than a house of worship. It was a sign of wealth and unity. The city of Ephesus was rich from trade, and the temple showed its greatness. Artemis herself was not just a Greek goddess. The people of Ephesus saw her as a mother figure, a protector of life. The temple stood for centuries until fire and war destroyed it. Now only a few stones remain, but its spirit lives on in stories. On the island of Rhodes, the Colossus stood guard over the harbor. This giant bronze statue of the sun god Helios was so tall that ships passed between its legs, or so the tales say. The people of Rhodes built it to celebrate their victory over an invading army. The Colossus was a symbol of freedom and strength. Helios, their patron god, had watched over them in battle, and the statue honored his protection. But it also warned enemies. The sight of such a mighty figure reminded them that Rhodes was not to be challenged. An earthquake toppled the Colossus, and its metal was sold as scrap. Yet, the idea of a towering guardian still inspires us today. Far to the south, in Egypt again, the Lighthouse of Alexandria guided sailors to safety. Built on the island of Pharos, Its fire burned so bright that it could be seen from miles away. At its peak, a mirror reflected sunlight by day and flames by night. But this lighthouse was more than a tool for sailors. It was a symbol of knowledge. Alexandria was home to the greatest library of the ancient world, a place where scholars studied the stars, the earth, and the secrets of life. The lighthouse, like the library, stood for human curiosity and the desire to explore. When it fell, the light of Alexandria dimmed, but its legacy of learning never faded. Our last wonder is the Mausoleum at Halicarnassus, a tomb so grand that its name became the word for all great tombs. Built for King Mausolus by his grieving queen, it was decorated with statues and carvings of heroes and gods. But the mausoleum was more than a resting place for a king. It was a statement of love and loss. The queen wanted the world to remember her husband forever. The artists who worked on it came from across Greece, blending styles into something new. In its time, the mausoleum showed the power of art to preserve memory. Though earthquakes shattered it, its pieces were used to build castles and forts, spreading its beauty far and wide. The seven wonders were more than stone and metal. They were dreams made real. Each one held a meaning: faith, power, love, freedom, knowledge, or memory. Time has taken most of them, but their stories remain. They remind us that humans have always reached for greatness, always tried to leave a mark on the world. The wonders are gone, but their lost meanings still speak to us. They tell us to build, to dream, and to remember. And perhaps that is the greatest wonder of all.